Okay.
We're holding a second siman of Havdalah. We started the halachas of Havdalah last week. We're holding now siman Resh Tzadikei 295. It's on page Shin Yud Beis.
Oh, right here.
It's on page Shin Yud Beis.
Got it?
Havdalah Sha'isa Shliach Tzibur. Noyagim Lema V'hi Noyam. After Shabbos, we say V'hi Noyam, and then Yoshev B'Seiseh. This is how Moshe blessed the Jews when they finished doing the Mishkan. V'Noyagim Lichpul Posuk Oirech Yomim. We say at the end Oirech Yomim Azbeir V'Reu B'Shosei. Oirech Yomim Azbeir V'Reu B'Shosei.
Is Chabad V'Hinoam?
Yeah. Everyone says it.
You're not here. You never.
But there's a difference. Ashkenazim, they say Shabbos morning when they say V'Noyam. They also say it twice. We don't. Also by Krishma Shalamita, we don't say it twice.
Wait a minute.
Why? Why do we say it Matzah Shabbos twice? Shal Yedei Kach Nishlam Hashem Hayoytzeh Mimenu. The Eibish's name is completed. What's up, Pshat? The Eibish's name is completed. There's a few pshatim in here that's brought in the Magen Avraham. Number one is when you say the word B'Yishuasi twice, so that's 4 times a Yud. 4 times Yud is Yud Kei Vav Kei. How is 4 times Yud Yud Kei Vav Kei? Because there's 4 ways of spelling Yud Kei Vav Kei.
I'm stuck in my bed.
And the most exalted way of the 4 ways of spelling Yud Kei Vav Kei is that in every one of the 4 letters there's a Yud in there. That's why this Ab, it's 72. It's the numerical value of 72. So that is twice Yeshuasi. Another thing is he says is that there is a Chazal that said that the Hashmonaim said this. That's how they won the war. They were chanting this whole thing. V'hi Noyam was the chant when they were for the Hashmonaim. You have to find some catchy tune for the whole thing. The whole thing. From V'hi Noyam. The whole thing was a chant. If someone have to make a good catchy tune for it, maybe mechaven to the tune of the Hashmonaim. And that's why there's 130 letters to this capital, which is like the numerical value of HaKoyanim.
But as far as a lot of different filot, that start V'Hinoam, not only Havdalah. A lot of filot.
Before.
But this V'hi Noyam is really a connection because it's 2 kapitlich in Tehillim. This is Kapitel 91 and Kapitel 92. It's put together, the last pasuk of Kapitel 91, and it's put together with Kapitel 92. We say it many times. Mechabad, the only time when we say twice is only Matzah Shabbos. Ashkenaz, if you look in the regular Ashkenaz Siddur, also twice. Shabbos morning, they say it twice.
Yeah. Not just as Sfardim too.
Yeah, the Nusach Sfard also has it twice. The Rebbe has a whole pshat why it's only Matzah Shabbos, has to do with Hapi Kabbalah. But I think Pashat the pshat is that when do we need this power of the 4 Yuds?
Always.
Always. When the special, when you go out to war. When are we going out to war? When we're going from Matzah Shabbos. That's why we say Altida Av the Yaakov. Because that's the time that we're trying to take the Kiddush of Shabbos and bring it into Uvdin Nechoil. So the Goyim say, okay, you took off a day from work, fine. But now you want to bring the whole Kiddush into the 6 days of the week? They don't like that. So that's why there's a fight. We're going into Sheish Shemei Maisa. So therefore we take the special koyach of Hinoyim. Let's continue. Why do we say the
Hinoyim that kapitel?
So
what do we say?
But Pashtus, why we say it is because now it's just like they didn't finish the Malachas Mishkan, and now they were able to start using the Mishkan. Same thing here. Now that we finish Shabbos, we can go into Sheishis Yimei HaChoil.
We should say it Friday night.
No.
That's when they finished it.
That's also
and then say it again.
No, it's associated with Malacha. Shabbos, we
say V'Hinoyam on Shabbos. No, we also say it on Shabbos, like Shachris.
No, but we don't start with V'Hinoyam. We say Yoshev B'Seiseh. It's like it's a different thing. We don't start with this pasuk of V'Hinoyam. In the morning we start from Yeshua Seisa. And maybe Hagufa is another reason why we don't koifel. We don't want it to.
We don't have the first three psukim.
Right. It's a different thing. It's a different cheshbon.
Right.
Usually it's a capital Tehillim. It's not like it's a different theme.
Yeah.
We don't say the word Volotzi and Goel because Geula is not by night. Geula is always by day. Why do we say so much piyutim on Motzei Shabbos? Because we want the Yidden to stay more time in shul. Why? So the Rishonim don't have to get chased back to Gehenna. Because the Gehenna, they call them back. On Shabbos, they get a reprieve from the Gehenna. After Shabbos, they say, okay, all the fellows that have to go back to Gehenna. So then they come back to Gehenna. Huh?
We have Gula on Motzei Shabbos. We have God Yisrael and Ma'ariv. We have the Bracha of God. Smichas Gula, Tfilas, and all three Tfilas.
Right.
Only in Shabbos and Ma'ariv, not Mincha.
Right, I hear it's a good kasha. It's a good kasha. Never says it's you have to look in the Sugya in the Gemara and Havdalah and Brachas.
Yeah.
Because Hagufa kasha, it comes from the Gemara about Smichas Gula L'Tvila. The Gemara over there says that the Iker Inyan of Gula is by day, not by night.
Well, we say the reason why we say Vayomer and Kriyashma at night, even though it's not Lazman Tzitzit, is Shor Tzitzit Chemer Tzrayim. Also has the Yitzhak Tzrayim.
Right.
Also Gula, and it's a Gula of Yitzhak Tzrayim happen at night.
No, forget. The Gemara says no. That
when the Yidden left Mitzrayim,
that's why the Gemara says it's not true. The Gemara says that's what the Gemara over there says. That they didn't go. The Eibush said, "Atam lo teitzuish me Pesach beis ad boiker." That's faket. The Gemara says they were not allowed to go out of the house till the morning.
So what wasn't the? So the Kriyas Yamsuf happened at Chatzos of the next night.
Right. Not the next night.
No,
for a few 7 days.
7th day.
7th day.
Right.
But
that was a gula.
That was a gula. I hear it. So it's a good question.
Which not.
It's a good question. It's a whole sugya in the Gemara about this concept that there's no gula balayla.
Yeah.
Good. And it's interesting that the Bach says.
It's in the. Amma ben Zayim. Harikanik Shir Shalom. Was Chiseli.
Shetem Mitzis Mitzrayim
Aleilas.
Achador Ben Zayim.
Ben Zayim. Right.
Right. So Zayim said that we do mention.
Right.
Yeah. It's a big sugya. It's interesting. It's funny now that you're asking. One of the first sugyas in Shas is this, I think, about Geula. It's the Havdalah and Mesachas Brachos. This whole thing about Geula by is really by day. And the Bach says that's why it says Ata Kodesh Yoshev Tehillas Yisrael. The Eibishter likes to hear the praises of the Jews. So while the Jews are praising him, he doesn't want to hear about Gehenna. So while Jews are still singing Motzei Shabbos, when the last Jew finishes Tehillas Yisrael, so then the Rebbeinu says, okay, the shop is opened again for business. The Gehenna opens up again.
Which is really 48 hours. Gehenna then really is close to 48 hours.
Because they have to wait for
Australia and Honolulu.
Right. It's like when you build the thing around the city, so you gain from all sides. You're supposed to make a.
As long as there's somebody that's still holding shop.
Yeah. That's why he's saying 48 hours. You get.
So the less Geula by daytime and nighttime. The less
Geula has to be by day. Yeah, the Geula is always by day.
Think of how good Abish is.
I learned that the first story I ever learned that Rabbi Lisbon
in Japan and Honolulu, it's almost 2 days.
He was in San Francisco that time. The first
almost
story,
2 day gas.
this is what it is.
How many hours?
16 hours. That means
how many?
And Gehenna and Gan Eden.
How many is?
What's the
one behind us?
And they can meet the Neshamas from Gan Eden. They're able to meet
maybe 8 hours.
From Gehenna. But when time comes, when Shabbos is over, and it said that these Neshamas are supposed to go back to Gehenna, the ones that Ashmoch and Torah, those Neshamas that belong to Gan Eden
go to Gan Eden, and Gehenna go to Gehenna. Halacha beis. Yesh negam et hamidim alayim alayim umed. Pasuk v'yinayim. there's a pneumizik time to say it while you stand. If there's a Yom Tov on this day in the week, well, any day of the week, if next Friday there's going to be a Yom Tov, why not? We say twice. And the Prisha says even more. It says Maise Yadenu, Umaise Yadenu. Umaise Yadenu with a Vav. Vav means I'm going to work 6 days of the week. But if you're not planning to work 6 days of the week, because one of the days of the week is a Yom Tov, we don't say this. But if next Yom Tov is going to be a Shabbos, then we do say it.
But Yom Tov, you work for Hashem, so you work.
It's a different type of work.
We're talking
It's a different type of work. Right, it's a different type of work.
I learned that also.
Right, it's a brocha malacha. But Maise Yadenu, right, Maise Yadenu. Zman shein nemer say in eigen loim gam at the kodesh. If you're not going to say v'inoim, you also don't say at the kodesh. V'chol say the kedusha lafi shev'inoim shech gam lachs mishkan. V'deikach shorsa shechina b'Yisrael. V'zov at the kodesh shetilas Yisrael, because they're really connected. After the Hinoyam, that the Eibishter was pleased with the Maise Yadenu of building the Mishkan, the Eibishter was showed the Shechina, and that's a Pshat at the Kodesh of Tilas Yisrael. That's why we put them always together. So therefore, in a week where you don't say V'Hinoyam, you also don't say Vat Kodesh. But V'Yitlecha has no connection to it. So V'Yitlecha you say anyway.
I thought it was like a mini. It's interesting. The Rebbe brings down V'Yitlecha in the Shulchan Aruch.
Right.
I thought it was just like a mini Yisrael, but
No,
he brings it down here.
Right. It's interesting. Yeah.
What's the motive for that? For saying V'Yitlecha?
V'Yitlecha. It's a good question.
It is a mimic.
It's a good question. We'll talk about it. Because the tour brings, when we get to Siman Reish Tzadik Tes, a whole kinds of things about Matzah Shabbos. Matzah Shabbos is a shikh in the world. People are worried if they're going to have atzloch in the world. And then at Pichsidus, there's a whole maimer of Altida of the Yaakov.
This reassures you.
Right. It gives. Right.
It makes you feel.
Right.
It's in the song here.
What's the term?
There's
Oh, yeah?
a footnote there.
Okay. You'll tell me what it
Well,
is.
I don't know. It's in Hebrew.
It tells you it's a Tehillim, 90 and 91.
Oh, that was.
Sorry, I said 91, 92. It's 90 and 91.
It's interesting because on the one hand we're saying the Noyam because it's the Mishkan and it's Hashmama, that after Shabbos, so now we have the Mishkan built.
Oh, yeah.
So that's like a good thing. And then on the other hand, we're saying V'Yitlecha as like a Nechama.
Yeah, but good. But we're using this bracha, V'Hinoyam Maise Yadenu, that over there the Eibusha was pleased with the Maise Yadayim, and there was a bracha on their Maise Yadayim. So also here we're saying we should be a bracha on the Maise Yadayim that we're going to do this week. Basically, there should be a Shiras Hashchina on the Maise Yadayim that we're going to do. Whatever business we do this week, that we should be Mashra the Eibusha Shechina. If you learn Basa Lagani, you understand this very good.
Right,
that's what we want to do. Right. Noigim shashatz mavdol beis hakneses al yayin. The shlich tzibur does make Havdalah in the shul kedei lo yitzim mishein lo yayin bebeis al Havdalah to be moitzi those people that don't have any wine. V'yishta makayt ba'atzim neskavan lo tzidei chavas al Havdalah zu oy yishka mimenu la'achas sheskavan lo tzidei chavas. He should drink it himself or give it to some other adult that's going to drink it. Avalim mashkois al tinoikos, if he's going to give it to a child, ain't shum adam yochel lo tzidei chavas al Havdalah zu. Then you can't be yoitz with such a type of Havdalah. Kivin shleishos al makois adam sheitz b'dei chavas al Havdalah zu. Because it has to be that someone who's Yotzei the Havdalah is drinking it. Either some adult who's being Yotzei the Havdalah has to drink the Havdalah.
For some of the shul that make Kiddush.
Kiddush is a whole different story. That's why you were saying that Kiddush is there. Nogu loimer lahasker Eliyahu Hanavi b'Matzah Shabbos. We mention Eliyahu Hanavi. Acher Havdalah. Why? Lispal shiyavi v'aser nagula. That he should come tell us about the gula. Why? Shein Eliyahu b'Merev Shabbos. Eliyahu Hanavi doesn't come Erev Shabbos. Because the Gemara says that in Eidav and Nundalad, right? Yeah, I'm sorry, Mem Gimel. The Shaloi Levatel Yisrael Mi'eskei Tzorche Shabbos. Because Yidden are busy getting ready for Shabbos. V'gam b'Shabbos ein bo, im yesh tchumel l'mayla ma'asor tvachim. Also in Shabbos, Eliyahu doesn't come because it's a suffix of the tchumel l'mayla ma'asor tvachim. So it's Shaila if he can come on Shabbos. Okay, no number v'spalim. Therefore we daven kimish avar Shabbos v'yochel l'lovei. Now Shabbos is finished and he could come.
But he comes
What does that mean? He comes to exact same thing.
on
Yeah.
Shabbos.
That's not Magbil him.
Right. It's a whole bunch of this thing is like, Mola Kushis Keriman. But
I guess it's only if he doesn't have to. That's a sort of
No, but
mitzvah. It's a
talking about
deraisa.
coming mavasar lana. Talking about
no, that's what he's saying. By Mila, he must come. The
Exactly.
Eibishter was mashbiya him to come.
Exactly.
So he has no choice. But the Geula, we'll wait a day for the
Exactly.
They're
Besuda.
waiting 2,000 years
Yeah.
for another day, and this gefährlich.
Well, but on the
It
other
is
hand,
gefährlich.
on the other hand,
Oh, it is
right.
gefährlich. You're right.
not only that, our confident Sharm, the Abishah is going to take us on confident Sharm, and there's some people that can't afford healthcare in America, but they could afford it in Eretz Yisrael. So it's mamash pikuach nefesh for him to come.
Okay.
Yeah, do you
So
know?
he has no head. There's
it
no head
became
to
crazy. Health
Can't say about
insurance is crazy.
tchumen. We don't want to be mavad. What?
You're right.
Health insurance is crazy
that's
in
why
this
the
country.
Rebbe-
now.
The Rebbe said-
and also, since he's in some places where it's not yet Shabbos, like he could be doing a bris in Hawaii where it's not Shabbos, and yet he could come to a bris on Shabbos where it's already Shabbos. So anyway, he's straddling both all kinds of tchumim in this.
Right.
I'm saying he's got one foot in Honolulu at a bris, and he's got another foot in
What
Alaska.
about when
He can
by
go
the
to
Seder
town
night,
and
it
breathe
comes
the
to
same
everybody.
Exactly, he's ambidextrous. So
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. So the part of him that has to be
How to understand
that can't be with Chal Shabbos, he can stay home. The one that we need is where he should come.
But it's called Malach Hebris. A Malach, does a Malach have to follow Shulchan Aruch?
Oh, it's a good teretz.
It's
The Rebbe-
called
No. I want to say you
Wait a
have.
second. But once
Very
you're not
good
in your guf, are you really walking? In other words,
No,
it-
that's
it-
what he's saying.
No, so even if he's not a malach, you don't have to say he's a malach.
Okay.
He's Eliyahu Navi.
No,
his
no, I'll tell
neshama
you
is
why.
soaring all over the place. Not in a guf.
No,
Who says the
depends
neshama
when.
has to keep?
It depends when.
Shabbos?
No, it depends if he comes with his guf or without.
Ah.
That's why there's a whole thing about that. He said he couldn't come to the Idra because he was busy being Makaber Rebbe Akiva.
Oh,
So he said,
Ah.
so all the Meforshim asked, well, he's by thousands of brisin at the same time.
Right.
So they say no, because by the bris he's not mechuyev to come with his guf. He could come with his neshama. The covered Rebbe Akiva, he had to come down on his guf to be Makaber him.
and also want to be mevasa the geula.
Right, could be to Mivasa Gula, he's mechuyev to come like
guf.
with a guf. And it's mistaba that way, because the whole union of Gula is that to bring a lamata masarat tvachim, adira b'tachtoinim, to bring the kedusha in a guf.
Right. So I guess his guf will be mevasa the geula, and he might be even in the middle of a bris at the same time.
Right.
Machnas
That machna shows. No, but here Ed says that's going back to what he was saying. By the bris, he's like a malach, so there's no question of tchumim. Shenkin when it comes to B'suras Hageula. The Rebbe's big thing about this
But I
thing.
don't. I'm just saying, Lav Dafki have to come on to say that he's a
Yeah, he's saying
malach.
that malach, but still, but this idea that sometimes he comes with a goof and sometimes he comes with a
Right.
neshama, and Meforshim say.
But this, yeah, okay.
Maybe
Rebbe,
Eliyahu
you said
Navi
that-
is different
Yeah, the
than
Rebbe-
Malach HaBrit.
Huh?
No,
Eliyahu
Malach
Navi
Habris
is
is
different than
Eliyahu
Malach
Navi is the Malach Habris.
No, but I'm saying
Yeah,
is.
it's not the same.
Oh, could
Eliyahu
be
Navi
the-
is Eliyahu Navi. Malach
But okay,
HaBrit is
good,
Malach
but
HaBrit.
the-
But they call him at the bris, Eliyahu Navi Malach HaBris. They call him
You
that.
say it in the Seder. That's why I said it.
The Rebbe used to a lot of times Shabbos he used to say that the Mashiach Tzidkenu must come immediately, and then he used to say, the Gemara says it's a Sofik, a Tchumen, Lamayla Masara. So the Rebbe say, no, let him come, and Tishbi Yataretz, Kushas Rabbis. Yeah.
I think he caused the Sama Sedek. Was a
Oh yeah.
Because Sama Sedek had the same thing happen with him. About Erev Shabbos, he can't come Erev Shabbos. The Rebbe caused the Sama Sedek.
But Koch Nefesh is Dota Shabbos. And this is the time that we're really into Koch Nefesh.
Exactly.
That's right.
The sooner he comes, the less Rachman Aslan
Yeah, but
Behemoth
it's
is trying to
fine.
stab you.
That's right. This is never.
I
Nachazah.
think the second they come out of the things, they have to get into handcuffs. Then they can go to, if they want to go into Eretz Yisrael, they have to go handcuffed.
Who?
The Arabs. Yeah, there should be a law. You want to get out of your jail, you want to get out of the West Bank, you can go. You can come, but you have to be handcuffed. That's it.
Another thing is, why don't we say it Matzah Shabbos and or not Matzah Yom Tov? So the Bach has a beautiful thing. He says the Gemara says in Shabbos Ilmolu Yishamru Yisrael Beis Shabbos Miyad Negolim. We didn't. We keep 2 Shabbos. The right we have a Geula. The Alter Rebbe says it's a question. Alamam Chazal says 1 Shabbos. Alter Rebbe says that there's no. The Alter Rebbe says that
It's 2 nights of Yom Tov and he didn't come.
no. The Alter Rebbe says that in every Shabbos there's Yichud Elon Yichud Tator Shabbos Tator Shabbos. So if you keep Shabbos Kedaboy, even 1 Shabbos. So that's what he's saying. That's why after Shabbos we say Nu Rebbeinu Shalom. Maybe the Shabbos we already kept it. Maybe send us a Leona we already know. Because we
Not
kept
Yom Tov,
Shabbos.
Not most Yom Tov.
Right.
That's not Shabbos.
That's not Shabbos. That's why we only ask for Liyom. Because like every month Shabbos, we kilu turn to Abish and say, okay, we kept Shabbos this Shabbos, maybe, no, the schus of Shabbos, maybe do us a favor.
But so we should say Yom Kippur, Shabbat, Shabbat.
But we should say Matzah Yom Kippur also. It's a good kasha. It's a good kasha.
We do if it falls on Shabbos.
And we do Yom Tov too if it falls on
Falls on Shabbos, yeah. No. If Yom
Most Yom Tov, the second
Matzah
of Yom
Yom
Tov.
Tov falls on Shabbos, yeah.
Yeah.
The last day Yom Tov.
Yeah. Then we would say Vienna.
Yeah. Okay. No. The Prisha also says that Matzah Shabbos again. I said before in the tour, it says in Simulation Tzaddik Test that we need to have a special zgula for Shikha and Atzola. On Matzah Shabbos, we need special protection going into the week. So that's why we speak about Eliyahu Novi, because Eliyahu Novi is the one that helps us. When we need an extra miracle, we turn to Rabbi Shalom to send us Eliyahu Novi. Simulation Tzaddik Vav. Dine Havdalah Layayin, the halachas of Havdalah for the wine. So after that, there's going to be so this next halach simon is going to be the halachas of B'samim, and the following simon is going to be the halachas of Neir. Okay. Chachamim made a custom. The smell of B'samim Matzah Shabbos. Sometimes she's bar B'samim Reish Tzaddik Zayin, as we'll explain in the next simon. You have to make a bracha before you smell. And we spoke about this in great length Monday night. Okay. They said another thing that you have to make a bracha on the candle every month of Shabbos, sometimes she is born, as we will explain. And they said they should all go on a kos of wine. First, you have to make the bracha of the wine. The order is first B'day Priyagafim, B'day Min Psamim, B'day Min Eish, and then Havdalah. B'simonach, what's the simon? Yavne. Yain, B'samim, Neir, Havdalah. Yavne. That's the standard. Others, sometimes it's fancy ones.
When they make this rule, Yavne v'chachamir?
Earlier, 100 years earlier. Because it's a machlok b'sham v'silo.
Yeah, we learned that.
And Beishamai, Beisilo, as we say, Hillel, it was 100 years before the Churban, 103 years. Yavna was after the Churban. No Goloimer Koydam Havdalah Shebebayis Hine Kel Yeshuasi. The minig is to say Psukim.
We didn't do base.
Oh, you're right. No, I didn't. Skipped it. Sorry. Beis Tzarech Lazar B'Keshel Havdalah B'Chol Dvarim Shetzarech Lazar B'Keshel Kiddush Shabich Samazon. All the things that you have to be careful. For example, Commission is more Kuf Pei Gimel, which we learned, which was the 10 things that you have to be careful with a kosher bracha. So you have to be careful. I know before I gave the shir tonight, I took and I watched a few videos of Havdalah from the Rebbe. Dovi Hennig did me a favor, and he gave me this little box. It has every single video from the Rebbe from the 50 years. So it's amazing. So I plugged in. No, this is from Jem Gigamat from Imitim. Not only Jem, from everywhere. So it's
how many hours? There must be
thousands of hours. It's like what is it, one
with sichas and memory,
everything. It's one gig, one the biggest one that there is. It's a box,
Tegabyte,
whatever it is. It's a lot of.
It's my Genuvim. It's Hasidic Geneva.
Yeah. So I plugged it in and I went through a few Havdalahs and a few things that I'll talk about that we get here at this. But one thing I noticed that a few things that first that the Rebbe always the Rebbe's cups were cleaned. Obviously, you're supposed to. One of the things of a kosher bracha is that the cup has to be cleaned, but doesn't matter. The Rebbe had his becher. He always takes like this, and he always cleans off the becher before they pour in the wine for him. Another thing is, right before the Rebbe makes B'day Priyagofen, and a few times, and he turns, and then Rabbi Yunik puts in some more wine.
It should flow over.
He did it already chatchila.
It should be a kos malik.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, exactly. It should be a kos malik. Perfect. Yeah, I think that's a pshat. Siv Gimel.
The Rebbe didn't have such a steady hand.
Right.
So other rabbis do
exactly.
that too.
No Golaim Kaidam Havdalah. They refill it. No Golaim Kaidam Havdalah. Halacha 3. No Golaim Kaidam Havdalah before Havdalah. Shabbai Sina Kel Yeshuasi. Who the Ma'aser? Kais Shus Es Hakel a Simon Toiv. This is a minig is for a good simon. Vein Chayva Bedavid. There's no obligation to do it. There's an interesting thing that the Rebbe brings from. He heard from his father-in-law that his father, if he was not making Havdalah, he would listen to someone else make Havdalah, he would say the pasuk, Hine kel Yeshuasi, because it's not a bracha, it's a bracha, either you're saying it or I'm saying it, we can't both say it at the same time. But Kine kel, the Rebbe Rashab used to say it. Usually, like when we have one person says Havdalah, he says Kine kel Yeshuasi, everyone's listening. But the Rebbe Rashab, he would also say the psukim of Hine kel Yeshuasi. And even more, if the person wasn't making Havdalah on wine, he was making it on beer, because there's a whole shaila in the Gemara if you're allowed to use beer or not, he used to make the bracha of Havdalah himself too. Interesting.
Who's he?
The Rebbe Rashab.
If
So the Rebbe
Because
Rashab,
there was beer?
Wait,
Yeah.
He would make his own bracha on the last bracha
of
of
Havdalah.
Havdalah himself.
Yeah.
Even though the person...
Another person was
He was
saying,
saimach on the kais for the person saying it, the first psukim.
yeah.
Then he would say the last bracha.
No, he was saying on the person saying Shakal Li B'Dvarei. He would
Right.
always say Kine kel Yeshuasi.
Right, and then the bracha of yain of the shtia,
He would rely on that guy.
And what about the summon and then there
I don't
also?
know. I don't know. The Rebbe doesn't write about that.
Well, wait,
Because a lot of Lubavitchers, see, also they say those brachas too.
A lot of Lubavitchers make
They'll
those
say
brachas.
I agree.
The
summon.
Mishnah Berurah has a problem with that. He says that it doesn't make sense. It's not only Lubavitch. Vice there was a common minhag
What's
because the Mishnah Berurah said it doesn't make sense because there's a mitzvah Berei Havdalah Melech. So if you have 10 people here, why should one man make the bracha and everyone should say Amen? That's more covered to the Eibishter, Reiv Havdalah Melech.
And beyoitz everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other brothers.
The Mishnah Berurah thinks it's better that everyone should listen, and to one person making all the 4 brachas.
What does Alter Rebbe say?
The Alter Rebbe seems to say exactly the same as the
missed
Mishnah
the
Berurah.
point about the beer and the wine. You're saying there was Shabbat.
If the guy was making Boyde Priagofen on wine,
Yeah, so then
he would
was
listen.
Yaitza with his
but if
brother.
not, he would make his own Havdalah. He would say the words himself.
Because he wanted to make on wine. You mean not?
But he's not saying it on a kais.
I know. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. It's a pella. But I just Lamaisa. It's ever since that Shimas from the Rebbe was revealed. There are a lot of Lubavitchers that by Havdalah they say Kine Kel Yeshuasi. They just say the psukim. There's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
You can do that. What's the big deal? You can say any psukim you'd like.
Some, yeah.
Just
Some
don't-
people sing it.
Ah.
YouTube, Shlomo Kalbach,
It's a shul in Crown Heights that takes 40 minutes to do Havdalah.
Wow.
Yeah?
What they do? Shlomo Kalbach?
What's his name?
Abbas Yisrael?
Yeah.
Yeah?
The brother was here. It was the Smicha program.
Oh, yeah, right. Denberg.
Sephardim say different psukim altogether.
They say different psukim. Okay.
Dannenbaum. But why does Alter Rebbe say all of a sudden here, Ein,
Vein choyve bedover?
yeah, when the earlier
You mean the V'yitin
the Hinoyam,
Right, over there he didn't say.
Yeah, that's much less prevalent.
No, I'll tell you why. No, I think it's a good deal you're making.
Much more people say V'yitam Lecha. I mean, say Hine Kel Yeshuasi than V'yitam Lecha.
Right.
True,
Those
that's the
skip- no one
Metzias.
skips
However, I think those things have strong what's it called in the Rishonim. And there's a Pirkei de Rebbe Lezer, there's like Medrashim that have this idea of those Mashenkin, these psukim of Hine Kel, even though it's a meaning that everyone there does.
Yeah.
There's no Rishonim and no Pirkei de Rebbe Lezer. There's nothing to support it.
Wow, I wonder where the first Siddur that were printed to have,
Right.
to have it.
Right.
בספרדים, אלהד רבי מאיר עננה, רבי מאיר בעל הנס עננו, in the Havdalah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Few more different things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they sing by Yecharu Friday night.
Friday night or Shabbos?
Friday night. By Zmiris is by Yecharu. That's why they have the
Any special
Ashreich.
Venezuela
Ashreich.
minhagim for Havdalah?
Yeah. Hugo Shabbos Yemach Shemoy.
Maybe it worked. That's why he died.
And his Mamala Mokum twice as much.
Oh, okay.
He said his worse. The Mamala Mokum is worse than Hugo.
No, this guy is. It's worse because he killed the economy totally. It's like
There you go.
a dumb bus driver became president.
So Hugo
He used to be a bus driver.
Yeah, but like a crazy bus driver. Not like
Well, let him go back to the bus driver and drive off the cliff.
he drove us all off the cliff. No.
Now we need him to go off the cliff. Crazy.
80% of the Jews left. I'm not kidding.
Who's the Chabad there?
Yeah, Perman and
Yeah.
my cousin went from Venezuela to the Rebbe sent him years ago to Kharkov. He's in Kharkov. He's the rabbi in Kharkov.
Who?
Moshe Moskowitz.
Oh,
You know him?
that's your cousin?
Yeah.
Who doesn't know him?
I don't.
Shliach in Kharkov.
You're the first one.
He's very much like that. I met a lot of people from Ukraine. He told me that he does a wonderful job.
Yeah, they say. Let's continue. Halacha 4. B'shas birchas Havdalah yitnu Hashemim es eineim b'kois of a ner. And the time of the Havdalah, they should look in the kois and in the candle. Noigim lishpach mat yayin ha'kois al oretz l'siman tov. There's the minig is to pour a little bit of the yayin onto the
Why doesn't he speak about the mevorach? Or maybe that goes without saying.
Yeah.
Saying it's pashut.
Yeah.
Because if you make you have to see what you're making a bracha on.
Exactly.
And that's the reason why they also have to look at it, because he's being moit to them, and just like he has to look at it, they should.
Yeah, I think so. That's a double.
Well, that's
Shkol b'ayis she'en yayin nishpach b'ay kamayim. A house that there's no water spilling there. Ein b'siman bracha. Akeno yisn siman bracha b'tchilas ha'shavua. V'hem is a isa mishum bizeh mashka she'shef chilibikim she'en she'ef chiladav amuad. He's only pouring a little bit. So the Rebbe has a beautiful sikh on this. The Rebbe says here that there's two issues really. One issue, you're not allowed to have a bizui for food. You're not allowed to embarrass food. Just like we learned in the Gemara about not throwing food and not stepping on food. All these things. You're not allowed to be mevaza. And then there's a second thing. I'm not embarrassing the food, but I'm just gonna leave it here on the table for 5 days. That's baltashkes. It's food. It's going levatola. There's two separate issues. So the Rebbe says like this: in order to fix the problem of bizoyin, that's why the minig of Yidden is to use a plate, what's called in Yiddish a tetzel, because now there's no bizoyin. A bizoyin, and if you pour wine on the table, it's a bizoyin. But if you're pouring the wine and it flows over into a plate, it's not a bizoyin.
It's also not libud because you're going to put out your candle in that yain, and everyone's going to wipe their eyes.
And more the Rebbe says. Not only that, because when do you say it's levatola? If you just threw it in the garbage.
Using it anymore, right.
Here you're making usage out of
it. Right.
It's a siman toiv, and you're making usage, so therefore it's not levatola.
Exactly.
And also the fact that you're putting it in a plate is not a bizui. That's why the minig is to have a plate.
That you're not. You can do both at the same time. It's fulfilling both. One that it's not.
Bizoy.
No, it's not. It's not
levatola.
What's the lotion for batashkas, and you'll have it to be able to use it. And if it falls on the table, although some rebbes you do it on the table,
right? Because that's what it's
they go like this, so everyone can.
My father used to do it on the table.
The reb, because your father's a because he's a visitor, and the visitor makes a gross Havdalah, and he spills it, so all the Hasidic go like this all over.
Yeah, but he used to pick up the tablecloth and make on the tray.
The Mishnah Rebbe is the Rebbe of the Rebbes. This store he has 6 Rebbes from his either son-in-laws or his sons.
7 visions.
2 sons are Rebbes and 4
sons. 2 visions.
The Square Rebbe, the Belzer Rebbe.
One of Satmar is also
one of Satmar Rebbe
is also a brother.
2 sons. He's the biggest.
Yeah, the Belzer. He married all his daughters. Married.
He was the Rebbe of Rebbes of this dirt. By the Polishes.
But he's not there. He's not a Polisher. That's Hungarian.
But we call him Polishes.
He's Hungarian.
Fine.
They kiss their hands.
He's not Hungarian.
The Polisher don't let them kiss their hands.
Is Transylvania.
What are you talking about?
The Vizhnitz Rebbe.
What's his name?
Hager. The last name is Hager.
Yeah, so his son-in-law is the Satmar Rebbe, the Skver Rebbe, the Belzer Rebbe, and then he has 2 sons that are Rebbes.
But he's not around there. He's in Gan Eden already. He's already.
That's why his sons are Rebbes.
Yes, and they don't fight. They give cover to each other.
One of them was just in 70 a few months ago.
Yeah, on the block.
The smaller one.
I wanted to go, and he happened not to be there.
The one that became Rebbe was a nidna for many years.
Right. Yeah, he was by his uncle.
He had Yechidus by the Rebbe many times. They say he'd come in 2-3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
He was by his uncle in Muncie.
I'm sorry, but anyway, so they make a big thing with the.
They make a big thing on the table,
like almost like Kriyas.
That's Kalender Rebbe does that too.
Yeah, that's
so everybody can.
That's
put
really nice. Everybody is minhag.
What is Peshat in Kosir Boyah?
So I guess that's the pshat. I guess that's a pshat.
So why should it be a sheila?
Why should it be a sheila?
My brother took up that same minute with my father. He puts it on
I
the
guess you could
nice.
say.
table. I don't.
I guess you
I
could
don't-
say it
I'm
doesn't
really
spill
excited
over. You
anyone
could
can
say
get
it's
it.
only till the top.
That's the word.
Maybe
Yeah,
tasted of it means that it gets spilled over.
And also in Etzisrol,
I mean,
they
Rubik
don't- you know the
Kekula, you
Oitzer
could say-
Bezin that they had the wine Oitzer Bezin, they don't make Havdalah with it because you waste wine. You're not supposed to waste
Yeah,
Oitzer Bezin wine.
Interesting. Let me start again. There's only a dover muit. V'yesh linek shvicha zu b'shashem ba'ala koitz akol gedoysa v'yara lov oid mat bin yeshish b'chem mat loret, that you should put right in the beginning when you pour in the wine, you should pour a little extra. Havlen lishpach loretz meyayin shebekoishen es ba'ala b'sherei im yishpach ben lo yakois malakol gedoysa groi. Once you already filled up your kois, you're about to make the baruch. If you're going to pour out, then you're not going to have a full kois. V'm lo yishpach ben klumad achar v'dola Kiddush, which if he's going to wait till after Havdalah, then he'll pour it out. That's a bezoin to buy the Priyagofen. It sounds as if he makes Boy Priyagofen and then he goes spills. That's a bezoin to the bracha. Therefore, the only way to do it is right in the beginning when you're pouring the wine to pour a little extra, should pour over.
Why would he do? What do we care if it falls a little bit on the floor or into a plate or on the table? What's the chilik? Has the daf go on the floor?
I don't think it's dafka on the floor.
Well, sanitary on the plates.
I don't think it's dafka on the floor.
Not only sanitary. It's why. What's the of having it on the floor?
I don't know if it's dafka on the floor.
It says Allah.
I know.
Says
I hear it. It's a
Shefa,
good-
it's a shefa.
I never heard that before. This is the first time I heard that you should pour.
Here, someone brings that eye from a pasuk mefurish. It says koisi devoya.
Yeah, but what does it say? Revay on the floor.
The original translation of that is
Over.
my cup runneth over.
Yeah, I'll have daf on the floor. It can run over on my plate too, or on my table.
It's a good kash. I don't know. Gab noig lishpach ala shulchan min hayayin neshabakos achash tias Havdalah. Umechabim boyanek de shinir lekol shamahud lekner zel lemitzvah lener shel Havdalah levarach alav. So this is noticeable now to everyone that this candle is dedicated for the mitzvah of Havdalah. If you didn't have an extra candle, you're just using a regular candle in the house, there's no point. But if you have a dedicated candle for Havdalah, we pour it out and we put out the candle with the wine. And the minig is to wash their eyes with this wine to show how dear the mitzvah is to us. There's many different how people do. Some people, the Rebbe used to do like this. He used to put 3 times on his. But some people have a minute to put it also in their pockets.
Every
On
pocket.
the loose, you know the loose. They also put on the loose. That's the only
Really,
thing
on
that
the
stays.
loose?
You know what the loose is?
Yeah, we don't want to lose it.
Yeah.
That's what stays whole.
This wine to the bottle.
Yeah, but you have to make sure that you do it like we learned in the that shouldn't be pogum. So you have to. But yeah, why should you waste the wine that's a kosher brocha?
No, 1 second. With what's left on the plate, you're not going to dip your.
Oh,
Not
no,
on the
not in the
plate.
plate.
Not
The cup he's asking.
The cup.
Cup, usually drink it up.
The plate you put the candle. If
Yeah,
it is,
yeah,
you
yeah.
can-
Should drink it up
It's
already.
ma'us already.
Yeah, but Yosef Chaim Zonafeld used to drink it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With the candle?
everything, everything.
Wow.
He was
I
very
don't
much.
understand. It said he was a big istiness and
I didn't hear
all
anything
these
about that, but
stories.
but he loved the mitzvah a lot more.
But he would take it from the plate and drink
He
it?
would drink every last drop.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
Maybe he went a little bit light on the on the can. I'm putting it out.
Ain't sarach lahatem
What's
because
saying? Is he going to say how much you have to drink from the kois?
yeah,
You're gonna
this,
get
this
the-
is.
What?
You have to eat.
The Rav Kois.
I don't
Let's
think
see what
that's
he
right. I
says.
think
Let's see what he
Molly Luzman. I
says.
think you only need Molly Luzman.
Ain't sarach lahatem because bracha l'shemim. People don't have to taste it. K'moshe tzarech because kiddush like you do a kosher kiddush. You don't have to get people to taste it. Ela mavdel rogel lishtoisoi kuloi. The mavdel drinks it all. I'm not sure what's the diuk in the word kuloi. So like this. When it comes to kiddush, the Alter Rebbe
It
says
says Pochas Molly Luzman.
right that you could drink roiv revius. As long as you drink roiv revius, that's already kosher. That's fine. The Alter Rebbe says best thing is to drink a full revius, because when you drink a full revius, there's no question that you're allowed to make a bracha achroina after that. So therefore, that would be according to the Bavram Chaim Noah 3 ounces of liquid. So if you drink 3 ounces of liquid, then all opinions agree that you're allowed to make later ala gefen.
Isn't it 3.3 ounces?
Yeah? Oh, I think it's 3 and a mashu.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 3.3.
I don't know. That's what I remember.
Uh-huh.
From Pesach.
Okay, so 3.3.
But there's another reason you would want to drink at least a revius so that you can be moitze. Oh no, to be moitze. Let's say minimal of malka right after. Then it would pater other mashkim if you drank how much, a malululav or a revius.
It's such a big suffix about the Havdalah that
you have to have in mind. You have to eat it samach lehavdalah.
Right. The Alter Rebbe says it's better to just make an ala gefen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Then you watch.
It's Simon Kufayin Dalet.
No, because the Mechaber says I think that you. I don't want to say.
Yeah, it's a big. There's a big.
Hoo-ha.
Yeah, on that sugya. So, okay, you know what? If a person is planning to continue faket, he doesn't need to have a whole revius. Then just ring the rov revius and have in mind to continue, and then you'll continue, and then you'll be able to make a ala gefen. As long as you drink the revius within a shear of the right amount of time.
But if you have a malka on a mezainis,
no, not mezainis.
No, I'm saying that if you did, then you can have
because and then you're gonna put it together.
Okay.
Right. But anyway, so that's the thing. So you have to drink. But here the Alter Rebbe says a funny thing. He says, whoever drinks a whole cup, the only time we ever drink a whole cup of wine is by the 4 cups by the Seder. Because the Machloik, some Rishonim say that you have to drink the whole cup, or at least Rubai Kekuloi. But why does the Alter Rebbe say? So I think could be the pshat is like this. That the Alter Rebbe is just saying, Rogil. Because what are you going to do with the extra wine? It's already pogum. But the truth is, if you're going to fix the pegima and put it back in the bottle, it's not a problem. But whatever.
What's this? Who drinks the whole course? You have a question about that, or you always drink the whole course?
Oh, okay.
You never even thought twice about it.
No, I meant to say. I just drank a course of seltzer.
No, by adding.
But I meant to say, whoever does it, like with the intention, like by Pesach, there's a shita that you have to drink the whole kois. But by Kiddush, as long as you drink Malay Lugmav, you're good. So why does Alter Rebbe say here, Hamavdil Rogil Ishtoise Kuloi? Like, and also it's a funny lashon Rogil. So I think he means to say, just because you're not planning to give it out to distribute, so what are you going to do? You're going to leave a little bit in the kois and pour it out in the sink? That's mamash levatola. My grandfather, when he sees the grandchildren after Kiddush or Havdalah, they take the stuff in the kitchen. He goes crazy.
And they do what?
And they take the rest of the Kiddush or Havdalah wine. They bring it back in the kitchen. They start washing the dishes, and they take the little bit of wine. He goes crazy. Yeah, yeah. And you made and you made a bracha on this. You made a kosher bracha, Kiddush, Havdalah, and you're gonna now pour it out in the sink.
I couldn't agree with him more.
He goes crazy,
and especially where he came from when yain was so precious. Where did you get yain in there?
Exactly.
You're lucky if you were even living.
Right.
But it's maybe also what he means is elamav the rogel shtois kula doesn't mean koil. He's not talking about on the kois. He's talking about exclusively.
Could be, yeah.
He's the
only one that drinks, not the other fellows.
Yeah. If there is a shtia, whatever is drunk is all drank by the holy. It doesn't mean the kois.
But he's joyce
means
everybody.
the zach.
But somebody else could drink if he's joyce everybody. But the whole
Havdalah I heard that there's hakpah that no one should drink. I always thought it was just ladies, but someone told me maybe you said
women don't drink.
Even men shouldn't. Another man shouldn't drink.
No, the Rebbe said that the Frierdiker Rebbe was makbid to have in mind that no one's yotzeh his boyre priyagofen. Why? Because
in Havdalah.
In Havdalah. Why? Because later he would give al kosher brach. So a person comes there and he has in mind his yotzeh from the Rebbe's boyre priyagofen.
He's not going to make a brach.
15 minutes goes by. And the Vaila, he pushed someone on the line. The guy pushed him back. They had a few words in between them.
And there was Hazachadas?
Yeah, there's Hazachadas. But then there's a Hoshaila about, so here I had in mind Befedish that he's not being moitzi anyone. Boire priagofen.
That's where it comes from.
That's, yeah.
But normally, the filter is no that anyone can drink from.
Yeah, why not? Why not? The little kids love to drink a little bit of Havdalah.
Right. So also maybe not to get the girls feel bad, so we only give to them nobody, just the father drinks it.
Girls shouldn't drink it, Havdalah.
Why?
I heard that they grow beards.
Hold the candle up.
Yeah, they hold the
girls
candle.
hold the candle to have a talk.
Oh, that's
That's all chassan, yeah.
What is this whole business about
If you ever watch it, see us laugh, it's always a
yeah.
I just, there's so many around, they have to.
I
Right.
saw that.
I don't know.
Okay.
There's all kinds of funny things. What, you don't know this thing?
So I should have told that.
That the girls should hold the Havdalah candle very high.
They have
You get it
a
all chassan.
I would think she should hold the Havdalah, the Sefer high, the Siddur, so she get a scholarly chassan.
Aim of dilim pas. You don't use bread. I feel like yain if you have no wine. You don't use other liquids. It's not like kiddush that we use bread. There's a connection because kiddush is b'makom sudas. If you don't have wine, use bread. But what's the connection of Havdalah and bread?
I can make the connection with Malav Malka.
Good question. Elamai, because the pshat is that
No, but then the Havdalah is connected because the bracha from Havdalah is being is nimshach in the Malav Malka.
yeah.
But it's not a chiyuv for Malkam Suda. You're allowed to go and eat Malav Malka in a different place. What's the connection of Malav Malka and the Havdalah? You can say that both Malav and the Melech. That's why we're standing.
Yeah.
Okay, I hear.
But why does it say?
And it's also hidden for the Malav Malka. In other words, if you have a kois of yain and you continue into the Malav Malka, so like that, the grandfather would be very proud because not only were you mitzvah geras mitzvah,
Right.
now you have it for the
Hol des Aved b'chol mitzvah.
yeah.
Navid b'mitzvah chriti.
Exactly. You have it's a beautiful cup. Normally you don't use this cup only on Shabbos, and you're using it for the Malav Malka.
Question. But we do use anything which is considered chamar medina, which is a drink, the honorable drink of that country. Unless it's water. Unless he has wine. That's not a hidden mitzvah to use something else. The hidden mitzvah is always to use wine. I don't care that they're chamar medina. If you have wine, you should use wine. If you have no wine in your house, if you can go to the store, you don't have to go buy it. Mitzvah mufchas always use wine. Like Kiddush, the rules are slightly different because by Kiddush, the understanding is that wine is very important. But the Alter Rebbe holds that Lagabi Havdalah, as long as you have wine in the house, you have to use the wine. If there's no wine in your house, fine. You can use beer. You can use whatever it is, vodka,
milk, but not water.
But mitzvah and amufcha is always to use wine.
When we say wine, is grape juice also good?
So yeah, Kedem says that the Moshe Feinstein used to use their grape juice as wine, and why? Because if you leave Kedem out for long enough out of the fridge, it's going to ferment and turn into wine. So it's like yayin megita. That's what they say.
It's a spiel. It becomes a.
That's the whole heter for grape juice?
Yeah, because they say if you keep it long enough out, it would turn into wine.
Wow.
And they say that Moshe used to use it. That's what they say.
And also the Tzelem Harav writes on
yeah.
And not because of Moshe. The Tzelem
He
Harav
also says that, right?
It says you can make kiddush.
Kiddush made a lot of choices too.
Yeah. So
What is the
people are
question?
not allowed to drink wine.
What is the question?
it's not yayin. It's mitzvah oven.
No, but
It's still yayin. Though. It's still a very
Right. That's what they say. It's yayin megitoi.
So it's not. What's the question even?
The question is because the olden days when there was yayin megitoi, if you left it long enough, it would ferment and turn into wine.
But if it's straight from the God, so it's not.
No, but here they cook it.
It's pasteurized.
So that's it.
The yayin megitoi was never pasteurized.
So what if it's pasteurized? It's yayin
The one
mevushal.
from-
Not because it's mevushal, because like
It can't become yayin.
yeah, there's no potential for this juice to really ever turn into
ferment.
You know, with the Nazir it says yayin b'sheichar. So what's the difference? Yayin is grape juice, and sheichar is alcoholic wine.
No, sheichar is beer.
No.
No. Sheikha there means wine.
Yeah?
It already became
Oh.
No, but I would say, okay, but eventually yayin turns into sheikha. But over here, it was downgraded because it was pasteurized. It has no potential to ever. Okay, anyway, you know what? You agree to the Tzelem Harav. and good for you, because the truth is that, you know, there's many times that you're not in the mood of drinking wine, so kedem really comes in good use.
Yeah, especially if you have to go and make a zavanim and you're tired.
Yes.
Less than you want to
Some
drink.
people are not allowed to drink wine.
Exactly.
My father, at his older age, was not allowed
Or it's
to drink.
not tasty to you.
He wasn't allowed to
It's
drink
not supposed to
wine.
be.
Oh,
It's
whiskey.
not supposed
Right.
to be mazig you.
Right.
That's right, yeah.
Halacha 9. Afilim yesh l'kos yain she'enem moloi.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Also, the Jews in Europe, I think, had much stronger, or wherever they were from, had much, right? The olden Jews, they had much stronger stomachs.
I think. Yeah, they could eat
Yeah,
snacks. They could,
yeah, yain makes. If you don't have a good stomach, it gives you a stomach ache. It's not.
they grew up on black bread and you know, and
Coarse.
coarse
Right.
food. Yeah.
And the behemoths were shechted right in front of them, and they ate these behemoths.
Yeah, like the Gemara says, kohen shadaita yofa, koises basar chai.
Yeah.
You know what koises basar chai is? I mean, we're not talking about sushi. We're talking about steak, raw.
Right, raw steak, exactly.
Halacha 9. Vafila yesh loy kois yain. She'enem moloi, the kois moloi shecher. He has a choice. A kois yain, but he doesn't have enough to fill up a whole cup.
Oy.
And he has a kois moloi shecher, shar mashkem chamar medina. Tov yoisel havdalah yain emein pogum. Wine is always better. Avlimu pogum, but if the yain is pogum, hu bin yeshiv shel atakim guma said the sinas maim lotech gan shomos gvaim. Kvar roy bin yeshe im yosef alof mat maim lotech is kalkel. But if he has yain pogum and he can't fix it, usually you can put a little bit of water. But over here, there's already
If you
maximum
add
water
more
in it.
wine, you can't.
Yep.
It also can be fixed.
He doesn't have wine. He doesn't have nothing. He can't fix it. As I told you, Havdalah al-mashke chamar medina she'enem pogum.
Not a
Then,
pogum.
right,
How do you
Halacha
fix
10.
pogum, Takan?
put in a little bit of water.
Why did they just put a little of the chamar medina into the yayin?
If you add,
No, because it's talking in a case that he kept on adding. He added, if you put one more drop of anything besides yain in here, it would not be yain. That's what he's saying. He's saying in a very dire case, mamish crazy dire. He had wine. He put in water. At a certain point, it's so diluted, it's not wine anymore. It's water. That's what he's saying.
well,
Right.
So now that's not called a tikkun. You're gonna how much like the marshal with the king and the barrel of the the wine and the water. How much water could you keep on putting here? So then go with the beer. Matzah Pesach, the minig is to do it on beer. Why? Because the whole Pesach you're not allowed to have beer. Beer is chametz, so it's special.
You showed a difference.
But if you don't like beer, then you make it on wine. And even if you like the beer, it has to be that the beer is chamar medina. But if there's a place where there's a lot of wine there, and the wine is the chamar medina, like the Alter says earlier, if within a day's walk around the city there is vineyards, then the chamar medina is wine. Even if he loves the beer, it doesn't matter. But if this region has a lot of wine vineyards around the city, then wine is the thing.
So there's no such thing as chamar medina?
No, there's no such thing as chamar medina. Any city that has vineyards, and if you walk around the city one day's walk, all around the city there's vineyards. The only chamar medina in that medina is yain.
So that would be like if you lived in a settlement or whatever, the West Bank.
Yeah,
where they have
exactly.
wine.
Or in France, in those places, in the regions where there's
that's very
yain.
interesting.
So that's the only chamar medina. It doesn't matter you like beer. A German moved to France. He likes beer, but over there's a lot of yain. Mach nicht stois. A Yeka moved to Bordeaux.
Let's say that in Bordeaux they make delicious yain and delicious beer too. You still wouldn't be able to do it.
Still couldn't.
Even if the beer was delicious.
Yeah. Because of the chshivas of yain. When does beer take over the place of yain? In a place where there's no vineyards around the city. So if beer is choshev in that city, so we say that beer becomes the chamar medina of that city.
Right. But it doesn't. It takes over yain only if you don't want to use the.
Only if you don't have wine.
Or it's chavuv.
Or yeah.
Let's do one more halacha. Yom Tov Shechol is Mitzvah Shabbos. If it's now, it's Motzah Shabbos and it's Yom Tov, so anyway you have to have bread. Now you anyway having a meal. You should. The other opinion says you should always use better. You should use the beer.
Why?
Why?
Oh, you mean if you have a choice?
If you have a choice between lechem and beer, that the first opinion says bread is better, and the other one says beer is better. The minig of the Welt Alter Rebbe says like the first shita to use bread, but I think by Chassidim it was angenommen that they used Chama Medina. Rabbi Heller, I think it said this once. It said that Rabbi Blavatsky told him he was 12 years old. He came from Lita to Eretz Yisrael. On the first Shabbos, he asked his father, "What? They make kiddush on wine here? You don't make kiddush on challah?" He couldn't believe it that they
It was so plentiful.
Yeah, in Israel they had wine, but in Lita they only made it.
It was pashut.
It was pashut that you made. He was a kid; he didn't know anything. So he asked his father, "What? They make kiddush on wine? Supposed to make kiddush on challah?"
There's a lot of Svadish in Medina also. They couldn't get wine; it was illegal.
I wonder if the pass was covered than the yain. What if your pass is more covered too?
Tough to look in some tough iron base. I'm not sure. But the Motzah Shabbos doesn't help. Oh, you're saying the Motzah Shabbos it comes out Yom Tov.
In other words, it's like if you have yain, but it's not so covered to you. It's a covered as your wife's homemade challah.
Right.
Would you make it on the challah?
Yeah, I'm not sure. So let's summarize. So we have here the dinim of the dinim of Havdalah in the Beis HaKnesses, all the special things that we say Eliyahu Hanavi and Yeminayim Ata Kodesh, and then we're talking about the minig to have extra wine spill out, and there's no bizayin, we said, and there's no levatola to some bracha, and then we said that that the best is wine. Best is wine. If you have no choice, then chamar medina. Challah is out of the question unless Motzah Shabbos happens to be Yom Tov. Bread is out of the question. The best is wine. When your person doesn't have wine, so then they could use chamar medina.
I wonder if let's say Yom Tov, you don't want to have, you want to make kiddush now. You're not ready for bread. You want to have mezainis. Could you make kiddush on mezainis?
On Yom Tov?
Yeah.
So I'm saying, I'm not sure. It's in Simatofayin base. I'm not sure.
I didn't ask this.
No, before you were asking a different shaila, but I'm saying do all these things about when you prefer, which things you prefer. It's in Simatofayin base.
I'm just wondering, like, if you could make on mezainis. Right?
No, but I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Kiddush from Klan Suda, you don't.
No, but you're saying this guy loves cake,
Right?
And he loves challah, but that's still. I think there's a takonas chazal that we don't say that. I don't think.
So, but the Bnei Litas, you didn't have yain.
Yeah.
I'm saying if you don't have yain, now you're making it. You're making mezainis instead of challah. That's all.
Oh, mezainis instead of challah.
Nah, that's already.
I know. I'm just curious, but
maybe
because on Shabbos by day you can.
And I'll tell you, it could be yes.
It's not the word that you need to eat the Suda now. You can make
Shabbos in the morning.
Even Leil Shabbos. Let's Leil Shabbos. You're not ready yet to eat the Suda. Your wife's sleeping. You want to wait for her to get up. You want to make kiddush now. Can you make it on mezainis? You can.
Could be you can. Because the Alter Rebbe said there's a little Hagor in Siman Kufayin Kuf Pei Beis, where it says there that my brother, so in other words, the Maril said that my brother B'Sof Yomov said that you could be Yotzes for the Shabbos, also impossible to kiss them. You don't have to have real bread. So Ibazoi, you might be right.
Yom
Shabbos Yom Tov would be the same thing.
Right.
Could be, I don't know.